Hello and welcome to the Bygone Times. Today we're going to take a look at an old book that is part of a set of children's encyclopedias called the Book of Knowledge. This particular copy was published in 1923 in the United States by the Grolier Society. Grolier had been around for several years by that point, and they went on to become maybe the biggest publisher, one of the biggest publishers of encyclopedias, and they were acquired by Scholastic in, I think, 2000. This particular book is volume 8 in what I believe was a 20-volume publication in 1923. So just take a look inside, look at some of the old artwork and artifacts. We can see someone put their name in here. Looks like ARMS, ARMES to me. Could be something else as well. Alright, so we start out with one of the most beautiful children's pictures ever painted by Rubens. So Rubens, of course, known for Rubenesque art, and round cheeks and not quite pudgy people, but definitely like full-figured people. So here's the Book of Knowledge, the Children's Encyclopedia. I can see the editors-in-chief, Arthur Mee, Holland Thompson, and introduction by John Finley. So different college presidents and kind of bigwigs, and then we've got departmental editors for the different topics in the book. As I said, this is volume 8. So published in New York by the Grolier Society and in London by the Educational Book Company. Right, these are really thick pages. Okay, and then here we have the copyright page, and so you can see this Grolier from 1923, the Educational Book Company 11, 18, and 21. So Grolier and the Educational Book Company both started publishing this volume in 1911, but there's overlap there with M. Perry Mills and various other publishers on down to looks like the first date here is actually, well, so these are copyrights for text and illustrations throughout the work. So we've got James Whitcomb Riley, we've got Charles Scribner and Sons. So some big wigs in the publishing industry at that time. Riley is an Indiana legend. I'm here in Indiana, so well known to folks in this area of the world. And then this talks about the copyright ownership of poems by their various authors, Ralph Waldo Emerson, Oliver Wendell Holmes, etc. Okay, so here is the table of contents, and we can kind of get a good look at a good feel for what is in this particular volume. So it gives us the short guide to the principal contents of this volume. Okay, so we've got the Book of the Earth. So it looks like some geology and also maybe some space talk with comets, meteors, and sky dust. Interesting. Okay, so the Book of the United States, so probably some U.S. history and maybe something about the formation and then maybe the Constitution of the U.S. The Book of Familiar Things. Familiar is spelled kind of funny, at least to my eye, with 2 L's. So we got microscope, matches, and white diamonds. The Book of Wonder. So this is kind of like some questions maybe that children would have, and adults too. How long do animals live? Why do birds cast their feathers? How many words do most of us use? Good question. I bet that's gone down over time. How far off is the horizon? What are the 3 flags in the Union Jack? and so on and so forth, all the way down to how do we give one another colds. Okay, then we got the Book of Nature. So it talks about animals and the world and the waters, fishes, birds. In the Book of Canada, so Canada gets a couple of bullet points here. We got the maple tree and the Indians of Canada. Probably would be titled differently today. The Book of Men and Women. So we got the great storytellers, some American statesmen and conquerors of the sea. So probably get some poems and stories in that chapter. The Book of Our Own Life. So it looks like it's about the human body and maybe how to take care of it, at least according to 1923 standards. And then we've got the Book of Golden Deeds. So it looks like maybe people who did things that were remarkable. Could be fiction, I'm not sure about that. Brave Countess Joan of Brittany, the girl who saw the Tsar, the girl who saved Paris. Those might be all true. We'll see a couple of those. Maybe we'll flip through and see some of the illustrations. Famous books. So these are the stories of Charles Dickens. So there's a few entries there from Dickens and related to Dickens. And the Book of Stories. So we got Greece and Rome. Looks like some English stories. Wessex. The Fairy Maid of Ben Lake. Box of Good Luck. Aesop's Fables. Always fun and frightening. Granny's Wonderful Chair. So some fables, probably fairy tales in there, and then several poems, I guess, in the Book of Poetry. And it continues, so lots of poems, it looks like. The Book of All Countries, so France, Germany, so I guess France and Germany, along with the United States and Canada, comprise all countries. Thanks to Make and Do, Making a Sled, so this is kind of interesting. The Disappearing Penny, Box Furniture, The Chair That Comes to You. It must be a Tesla chair. Puzzling Cards, Fitting an Electric Bell, The Game of Why Is It? So there might be some fun activities to do even today there. The Book of School Lessons, Making New Words from Old Ones, Learning to Write Capital Letters, How to Draw an Open Book. So lots of different school type lessons, and then color plates. So this is going to be, I think, color pictures, including Rubens' children from the frontispiece, as they say. Alright, so it starts with the Book of All Countries, and we see a picture of the French Revolution, I guess, in action there. There's some more pictures, and you can see how it's laid out. Fairly dense text, but broken up with headings, so there aren't too many paragraphs in a section. We've got some more pictures from France. There we've got Napoleon at Fontainebleau, The Wonder of Time and Tide. So this is into the story of the earth now. You can see this book is sort of falling apart. It's not in the greatest shape, but it's fairly nice inside. The pages are nice and crisp still. We got a little verses for very little people, plus a song with sheet music. That's nice. This kind of is like an early comic book here. My father, he died, and I can't tell you how. It's fairly dark. There's some of the things to make and do. It's a hanging lantern. How the weaver cut his cloth. Interesting American birds. I think I might imagine as a kid spending quite a bit of time with us, I would have probably read through all of these many, many times back in the days before the internet. So the perfect match. So this is like how they manufacture matches. So a fun walkthrough, and if you're interested in the value of this book, it's probably under $10 for an individual book, probably under $5 most of the time. But it's a fun and interesting read, and I can imagine even today, if you had the set of all 20, you could probably spend many, many months going through them. So thanks for watching.